Amanda Pickett is joining us. Amanda, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. What's going on over at Victoria Park tonight?
Well, this evening at 6 p.m. at Victoria Park, the northwest corner, we're gathering on the 92nd anniversary of Sir Adam Beck's passing. Like you said, Sir Adam Beck is a longtime Londoner, and he had a dream, and his dream was hydro at cost. And today we're gathering to mourn the loss of our public utility at the hands of the Liberal government.
Well, that's really interesting. I hadn't thought about this tie-in with all of it. When did it first dawn on you that this was happening?
Well, it's been happening for many years, and we've been fighting the fight for the last several years. 80% of Ontarians are against the privatization of Hydro One, and the Liberal government went ahead and sold off 60%, regardless of what the people of Ontario wanted.
When you do get everybody out there and we head over to Victoria Park, what are you hoping to say? I mean, how many people are you expecting? What are you hoping to say about what's going on, and are you hoping to change anything?
Well, we have hopefully quite a few people coming out, and we have a lot of labor activists that will be speaking, and anyone else that would like to say a few words are welcome to. It's going to be some form of funeral service to commemorate his passing, and we want to renew the fight to keep his dream alive.
It's an interesting timing for it. You're absolutely right. I hadn't really even thought about it. You know, the guy who founded the Hydroelectric Power Commission of Ontario, and you're right. This is really kind of. It was a long, long time ago that he was able to do that, and up until recently, that was our thing, and it's gone now in Ontario, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yep. And that's why we need to get together and let the Liberal government know that we're not going to forget what they've done. We need to keep fighting to protect Beck's dream and make our hydro system public again.
Help me understand. I've never been a huge fan of protests and political activists, but I do also feel, though, at this point in politics, there needs to be more than just kind of laissez-faire attitudes. I think something like putting together a group of people to at least let the government know that there's a large group of people that are no longer going to accept it anymore is certainly a great course of action. So help me understand then, as you do have all of the labor union speakers there, labor speakers there, and yourself who's frustrated, and many other Ontarians that are just plain frustrated with all of this, what do you hope the Ontario government does, realistically speaking, of course?
Well, like you said, there's a lot of labor activists that will be out, but we're also hoping for many other people in the community to also show their support. I mean, 80% of Ontario's disagreeing is not all labor activists. No. So it's time that everybody comes together and says enough is enough, and hopefully there's a big enough push into the next election that whichever government takes over is going to stop the privatization agenda.
As far as timing goes, when do you need us there at Victoria Park?
We will be starting at 6 p.m. sharp, and it will start there with some speakers, and then we're going to have a procession down to Deb Matthews' office where we'll be finishing up. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate the time. Okay, and thank you for your time. All right, Amanda Pickett again organizing people to meet over at Victoria Park at 6 o'clock. And wants to bend the Ontario government's ear. They want to make sure that the Ontario government pays attention and recognizes that more than 75% of Ontarians are against the privatization of Hydro One. I've never, ever thought protests actually work. Never thought that. There's very little evidence across the world that of all of the protests that have ever taken place have actually worked. But we're at a point where we definitely need to do something to make sure that we at least feel listened to. That's where the problem comes in with politics, isn't it? That's where the problem comes in with politics. When we're willing to take, I don't agree with that. We're willing to take, this isn't the right way to do things. But we're not willing to be not heard or at least kind of ignored. And that's the way that it feels, especially in Ontario when the government is kind of, when it comes to funds and things along those lines. When it comes to that situation. And we look, what is going on? We don't even know what the game plan is anymore, man. Would you just settle it out? Explain it to us properly. Or at least lie to us, for crying out loud.
Don't make it so complicated that we can't even play in the game anymore. That it feels like this is the only course of action left. Our protest is standing up and trying to get any sort of attention. Again, I think most Ontarians now, we would take being lied to over the nonsense that's going on right now. It's incredible. It really is incredible.